Okay, well, welcome to this second video of this Second Brain installation guide tutorial. Second video is all about the installation, how we're going to duplicate and set the first steps towards that customization, which is the next video. So let's go directly to the page where you've just purchased the business edition or you've downloaded the personal edition. You're going to find a page like this, and you've already done this. You've just clicked on the duplicate, and it's most likely going to appear in your private area. So you're ready to go. You're going to start working with it, and basically there's a few things to take in account to start working with the template correctly. So first things first, the template that you might have might look completely different to the one that I have here. That's mainly because in the Notion marketplace, I've tried to make it the most attractive possible so that you can see the potential in it and download it. So what we're doing now is working with it towards making it the most actionable possible. So the main thing here is that the areas which are here above, I would move them down below the projects. This way we are working from more actionable towards the least actionable, and it's going to depend really on your way of working, on what you really are more interested in, resources, notes. It truly depends on your own necessity. So the second step, which is really important, is to set properly the capture buttons. And I don't really know, and I don't really understand why, but they are sometimes not set correctly once you download them. So it's very easy. You just click on the coggle or the toggle, I don't know how you call it. And basically what we do is adding a page to one of the databases that are already existing. So those databases, as I mentioned on the previous video, are below in the footer, and you have them here. So that's the main information that you're going to capture, is basically creating pieces of information and populating those main databases. So let me just show you further by clicking here. So you would basically link to the database. If it's not correctly linked, you look for it. So you put tasks here and it should pop up. It would be that one. So the next thing is to add a default page. That's basically the template that is going to use that you're going to populate the template, the database with. So basically, sorry, I got a little bit confused there. So basically here, as you can see, I've already set a few templates. This is for the business edition, but this is how it works. So what you do is basically you go here to edit. This is just a simple page, and what you do is you click here and make it by default. So that would be basically setting here by default, and you can select the template that you're using to populate that database there. Now, the second thing is, a second step is basically opening the page that you just added, because you probably just add that page and you might lose it. So what you really want to do before you start working with those pages is actually go to the categories of the page and start populating them to start putting all the information so you understand what you're doing. So that you would do here is open that page that you just created when you captured that information, and you can actually open it as a side pick, center pick, or full pick. So let me just show you why this is important. Well, basically what's happening here, just click done, is that you just click on the button and you just created a new page. That's already populating in the database, but if you don't put a name or anything into it, it's just going to be lost in the database. So I would typically start implementing the information here to understand where that page is going, and it will correctly set in the right place, in the right visual, to work with that page specifically. Now, the third thing that I consider quite important is actually working with the areas. So we're going to go, as I say, more granular into this and how it works, but let me show you this because it's probably the most difficult-ish part of the using this template, and it shouldn't really be difficult because it's already done. You don't have to really touch this if you don't want to, and it's not going to harm, let's say, the daily use of your template. Is the contrary is actually going to help you. I just did this crazy thing. But basically, what it means is that you have a main database visual, let's say. It's a layout, and I always create my databases with this main data layout. This is where all the information of the database is going to be, and all the categories that you have here. Everything is going to be in this page. So let's say that you are lost in this template and you want to see which main database projects is in. So you will go here, you can go here, make it big, and if you use Notion, this is basic, but you will always know where the database is and where you're pulling the information from. So we can do it here again with the areas. Let's go into the areas. Any area would do, and you can always access that main database. Now, how it works, and I always like to put the marketing example, which is more visual, let's say. So I would go to marketing. As you can see, we have all these different options too. If you want to make the aesthetics different, we're going to go further into detail in the next video. But you would have like quick access. You can pin them. The scope, business, is it personal? And here is the most complicated aspect. As I say, it's not really that complicated. These are relations. So what it means is basically these pages are related in between themselves, so that they have like a hierarchy where those sub areas are actually linked to the main area and the elements are linked to the sub areas. So for example, in this case, you can find marketing is an area and marketing strategy would be a sub area. Now, in the next category, what we have is actually this sub area is owned by marketing, which is the area, and it also has another page below the hierarchy, which would be the element, in this case objectives. So it's actually linked to marketing strategy, that's the sub area, and marketing strategy is linked to marketing. So you can see that there are pages that are inside pages and inside pages. And how this might sound overwhelming, it actually is not. This is the way that we can allow this template to send the information, as I mentioned in all the videos, to the right place. This is the only way to do it, is actually creating these relations between pages so that you can have any piece of information and make it look so simple as it is here. So you see this and you don't really think it's as complex as it looks, but it actually has a little bit of work in the back end. And that's why I always say, if you have a business, start with this, because then moving towards the business edition is going to be really complicated. So you should start from scratch, start from the beginning in the right place. So that's basically how it works. I hope that you don't have any doubts. If you have any questions, I just want to make this the most pristine possible so that you really leverage the template, because it's going to change the way you work. What else? I can tell you basically a way of customizing those areas, sub areas. If you don't want to use them all, because you say, okay, Jose, I really don't want to use, let's say in the personal spirituality, okay? You might not be spiritual, you don't want to use that. There's two ways of doing it. Or you either change the names to something else that you want to use for yourself, or you can erase it directly just by, it's always a little bit tricky, but what you would do is, or select them personally one by one, or you can also drag and drop or eliminate just by selecting all of them. Now, if you want to go more specific, you don't want to break anything, you have a personal data layout. So all these are the personal areas, or just the business areas. You also have elements, which are divided or organized by the sub areas, as you can see. So you can erase the elements if you wanted to, or even the sub areas, which are actually organized by areas. Also, I've thought that you might find easier to do it here. This is just a page with a view of those specific areas, sub areas, and elements. So you could do it here. You can also click here to see property visibility, let's say. So for example, I want quick access, so you can actually decide which are the elements that you want quick access to, and you would have them here. I don't know why this is in Spanish. I'm gonna rename this to quick access. So that's how basically the template works. I hope that you found this of your interest. As I mentioned, if you have any doubts, please do send me them, because I want to make these videos as easy as possible to understand. We're gonna go into the customization video. If you haven't reviewed the template, please do take into account that I put a lot of work into this, and it's free. So a nice way just to acknowledge that is just to leave a nice comment, or a bad one if you don't like it. That's okay, but it would really help me. So hopefully, as I say, this is useful, and I'll see you in the next video.